Oh, shit. See if there's sound now. Okay. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Okay. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Oops, yipes.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Can you hear me now?
Krishna,
No.
Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram.
Just stay on. Stay on.
Sounded
Okay.
a little bit sound.
Yeah, I have to restart my computer because it's not working. I don't know what happened. Things fell down, and then now everything's kind of. Oh, something's happening. Okay. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Working now, huh? Hare Krishna. Yeah. Okay. Finally. Okay. Sound has come. Okay. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Can you send Christina the link to come on here? There. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. There she is. Early bird. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Good morning, River. Thank you for coming. Krishna, Krishna, Hari, 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 Rama, 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 Hari, 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari, 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 Rama, Hari, Rama, 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 Hari, 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari, 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 Rama, Hari, Rama, 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 Hari, 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari, 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 Rama, Hari, Rama, Krishna, 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 Hari, 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 Rama, Hari, Hari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari, 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 Rama, Hari, Rama, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari, 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 Rama, Hari, Rama, Krishna, Krishna, Hari, 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 Rama, Hari, Rama, Rama, Hari, Hari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari, 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 Rama, Hari, Rama, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari, 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 Rama, Hari, Rama, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari, Hari,
Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari, Hari, Rama, Rama, Hari, Hari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari, Hari, Rama, Rama, Hari, Hari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama, Hari, Hari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna, Krishna, Hari, Hari,
Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna
Rama, Rama, Hari, Hari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hari, Hari,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Rama, Hare Rama,
Ram Ram
Rama,
Ram
Rama,
Ram
Hari, Hari,
Hare
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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna,
Ram
Krishna,
Ram Hare Hare Krishna
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Krishna
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Ram
Hari, Hari, Hare Krishna, Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Ram
Rama, Rama, Hari, Hari,
Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Ram
Hari,
Ram
Hari,
Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Ram
Hare Krishna, Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna, Hari,
Krishna
Hari,
Hare
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 Rama, Hare
Ram
Rama, Rama,
Rama
Rama,
Rama
Hari,
Hare
Hari,
Hare
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 Krishna, Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Hari,
Hare
Hari,
Ram
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hari,
Hare
Hari, Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Hare Ram
Krishna,
Hare Ram
Krishna, Hari, Hari, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Rama
Rama,
Rama Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hari,
Hare
Hari,
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare
Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare Ram
Krishna,
Rama Rama
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hari,
Hare
Hari,
Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Hare
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 Rama,
Ram Hare Ram
Rama,
Rama
Rama,
Rama Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Krishna 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 Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna, Hari, Hari, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Rama, Rama, Hari, Hari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hari, Hari, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Okay. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare or something. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna
Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama Hare Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna
Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna
Rama Rama Hare
Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna.
Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Thank you.
Krishna Krishna
Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare. Thank you.
Krishna Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare Ram Ram.
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama. Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama. Rama Rama Hare Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Rama Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama. Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama. Rama Rama Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare Rama
Krishna
Rama.
Hare Hare
Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Rama
Krishna Hare Rama Rama. Rama Rama
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama. Rama
Rama
Rama Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare Rama Rama.
Hare Hare Rama
Rama
Hare
Rama
Rama
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna
Krishna
Hare Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama. Rama Rama Hare Krishna
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama Rama Hare Hare Hare
Rama
Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Rama
Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Krishna Chaitanya
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gora, Bhaktivinoda, Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Sri Krishna, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gora, Bhaktivinoda, Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gora, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Nityananda, Nityananda, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Nityananda, Nityananda, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Nityananda, Nityananda, Sri Krishna Chaitanya,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Nityananda,
Rama, Hare
Nityananda,
Hare
Shri
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Chaitanya.
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Nityananda,
Rama, Rama Rama,
Nityananda,
Hare
Shri
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Chaitanya.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare
Shri
Hare
Krishna
Rama, Rama Rama,
Chaitanya,
Hare
Shri
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Chaitanya.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Shri Krishna
Hare
Chaitanya,
Rama, Hare
Shri
Rama, Rama Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Chaitanya.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Shri
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Chaitanya,
Hare
Shri
Rama, Hare Rama,
Krishna
Rama Rama, Hare
Chaitanya.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Shri
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Chaitanya,
Hare
Shri
Rama,
Krishna
Hare Rama, Rama
Chaitanya.
Rama, Hare
Shri
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Chaitanya,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare
Shri
Rama, Hare
Krishna
Rama, Rama
Chaitanya,
Rama, Hare Hare
Shri
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Chaitanya,
Krishna, Hare
Shri
Hare
Krishna
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Chaitanya,
Rama,
Shri
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Chaitanya,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare
Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama
Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Hare, Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare, Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare
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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare Rama,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Rama
Rama, Hare
Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama, Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
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 Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama Rama,
Rama
Hare Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Hare,
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare Rama, Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Rama
Hare, Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare, Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare, Hare
Rama,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Rama Rama,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari Hari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari Hari Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari Hari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Rama Hare Krishna
Rama Rama
Hare Rama
Rama
Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare
Krishna Krishna Hari Hari
Krishna
Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama
Rama Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama
Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Krishna Hari Hari
Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu
Krishna
Nityananda
Hari Hari Hari
Shri
Rama
Krishna
Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hari
Prabhu Nityananda
Rama
Hare Krishna Krishna
Rama Rama Hari Hari Hari
Hare
Krishna Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Rama Hare Krishna
Hari
Krishna
Rama Hari
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hari 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 Rama Hari
Krishna
Rama
Hare Rama
Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hari
Rama
Hari
Rama Hare Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Hare Rama Rama
Hari Rama Hari Rama
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 Hari
Hare
Hari Hari
Krishna
Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hari Hari
Hare
Hari
Rama
Rama Hari
Rama
Rama
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare Rama
Krishna
Hare
Hari
Rama
Hari Hari Rama Hari
Rama
Rama
Rama Hare
Rama
Hare Hare
Rama
Krishna
Hari
Hare
Hari Hari Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare Hare Hare
Krishna
Rama Hare
Krishna
Rama
Hari Hari Hari
Rama
Rama
Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama Hari Hari Hari
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna
Rama Hare Rama
Krishna Krishna
Rama
Hari
Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna
Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare Rama Hare
Krishna
Rama
Krishna Hari Hari
Rama
Hari
Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama Hari Hari Hari
Krishna
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 Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare Rama Hare
Krishna
Rama
Krishna Hari Hari
Rama
Hari
Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama Hari Hari Hari
Krishna
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 Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama
Krishna Krishna Hari Hari Hari
Rama
Ram
Rama
Hari
Hare
Ram
Hare Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare Rama
Krishna
Hare
Hari
Rama
Hari Hari Ram Hari
Rama
Ram
Rama Hare Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Hari
Hare
Hari Hari Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hari Hari
Rama Hare
Hari
Rama
Ram Hari Ram Rama
Rama
Rama Hari
Rama
Hari
Hare
Hari Krishna
Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna Hari 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 Ram Hari Ram
Krishna Krishna
Rama
Hare
Rama Hari
Hare Hare
Hari Hari
Rama Hare
Krishna
Rama
Hare Krishna Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Rama
Hari
Hare
Hari Hari Ram
Hare
Hari
Krishna Hare
Ram
Krishna
Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hari
Krishna
Hari
Hare
Hari
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hari
Rama
Ram
Hare Rama
Rama Rama Hari Hari Hari
Rama
Krishna
Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hari 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 Ram Hari Ram
Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama
Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Rama Hare 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 Krishna
Hari
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare 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 Rama
Krishna
Hare Rama
Krishna Hari 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 Ram
Rama
Hari
Rama Hare Hare Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama Hari
Hare
Hari
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare
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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Rama Hare Hare Hare
Ram Hari
Krishna Hare
Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna
Rama Hare
Krishna
Rama
Hari 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 Ram Hari Rama Rama
Rama
Rama
Rama
Hari
Hare
Hari Hari
Hare Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hari
Krishna
Hari Hari
Krishna
Ram
Hare Hare Rama Hare
Rama
Rama
Rama Hari Hari Hari
Rama
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hari 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 Ram
Krishna
Hari
Hare
Ram
Hare Rama Hare
Rama
Rama
Rama Hari Hari Hari
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Chaitanya Prabhu
Krishna
Nityananda
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hari Hari
Chaitanya
Hari Ram Hari Rama Rama Rama
Shiva
Hari 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 Krishna
Adipura
Hare Krishna
Bhakta
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hari Hari Hari
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Rama Hare Rama Rama
Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Hare
Hari
Hare
Hari
Krishna
Hari
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hari Rama
Krishna Krishna
Rama Rama
Hare
Hari
Hare
Hari Hari Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Ram Hari
Krishna Krishna
Rama
Hare Hare
Rama
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 Hare
Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Ram Hari Rama Rama
Rama
Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna
Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna
Hari
Hare
Hari Ram Hari Rama
Krishna Krishna
Rama
Hare
Rama
Hare
Hari
Rama Hare
Hari Hari
Rama
Krishna Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare
Krishna Hari
Krishna
Hari Hari
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hari
Hare
Ram
Hare Rama
Rama
Hare
Rama
Rama
Hari Hari Hari
Rama
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hari 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 Ram Hari Ram
Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Hari
Hare
Hari Hari
Rama Hare
Krishna
Rama
Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Ram Hari
Rama
Ram
Rama Hare Hare Hare
Rama
Krishna Hare
Rama Hari
Krishna
Hari Hari Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare Hare Hare
Krishna
Rama Hare
Krishna
Rama
Hari Hari Hari
Rama
Ram
Rama Hare
Hari
Hare
Ram
Hare Krishna
Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna
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 Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hari
Hare
Hari Hari
Rama Hare
Ram Hari
Rama
Rama Rama Rama
Rama
Hari
Rama Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hari
Krishna
Hari
Hare
Hari
Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama
Rama Rama Hari Hari Hari
Rama
Krishna
Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hari
Hare Rama Hare Rama
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 Rama Hare Hare
Hari
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hari Hari
Krishna
Hari
Hare
Rama
Hare
Hari Rama 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 Hari Hari
Rama
Hari
Rama
Krishna
Hare
Hari
Hare
Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hari
Krishna Hare
Hari
Krishna
Hari Rama
Krishna
Rama Rama
Krishna
Hari
Hare
Hari
Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama
Krishna
Rama Hare Hare Krishna
Hari
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Hari Rama Rama
Krishna
Rama
Krishna Hare
Hari Hari
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hari
Rama Hare Rama
Krishna Krishna
Rama
Hari Hari
Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare
Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna
Krishna
Hari
Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare
Krishna
Rama
Krishna Hari 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 Rama
Rama
Hari
Rama Hare Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hari Krishna Krishna Hari Hari Hari
Krishna
Rama
Krishna Hare
Hari
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Rama Rama Hari Hari Hari
Rama
Krishna
Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hari 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 Rama Hari
Krishna Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama
Rama Hare
Rama
Rama
Hari 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 Krishna Hari
Rama
Krishna
Rama Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hari Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hari Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama Rama Hari
Hare
Hari
Hare 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 Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna
Rama Hare
Hari
Rama
Hari Hari Ram Hari
Rama
Ram
Rama Hare Hare
Ram
Hare Krishna
Ram
Hare
Hari
Krishna
Hari Hari
Krishna
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 Hari
Hare Hare
Krishna
Rama Hare Rama
Krishna Krishna
Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama
Hari
Hare
Hari
Rama
Hari Krishna Hari Krishna
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hari
Hare
Hari Hari
Krishna
Ram Hari Ram Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hari
Hare
Hari
Hare
Hari
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Rama Hare Hare Hare
Hari
Krishna Hare Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram Hari
Krishna
Hari
Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna
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 Krishna Hare
Hari
Hare
Hari
Hare
Hari
Rama Hare
Ram
Rama
Hari Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama
Hari
Hare
Hari
Hare
Hari
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hari
Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hari
Hare
Hari
Rama Hare
Hari
Rama
Ram Ram Hari
Rama
Hari Hari
Rama Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hari
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hari 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 Ram
Hare
Hari
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Ram Ram Hari Hari Hari
Rama
Krishna
Rama
Hari
Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hari 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 Ram Hari
Krishna
Ram
Krishna Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hari Hari
Rama
Hari Krishna Hari
Rama
Krishna
Rama Hare 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 Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hari
Krishna
Hari
Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Hari
Hare
Ram
Hare Hare Rama Hare
Ram
Rama
Ram Hari Hari
Rama
Hari
Rama Hare Hare Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare Krishna
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 Hari Hari Hari
Hare
Ram
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Ram Ram
Rama
Hari Hari
Rama
Hari
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hari
Hare Krishna
Krishna
Hare Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna Hari Hari Hari
Hare
Ram
Rama Hare Rama Rama
Ram
Rama Hare
Hari
Hare
Hari Hari Krishna
Hare
Hari
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hari
Hare
Hari
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Ram Ram Hari 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 Krishna Hari Krishna
Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hari Ram Hari Ram
Rama Rama Hare Hare Hare
Hari Hari
Krishna
Hari
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hari
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hare Hare Hare
Krishna
Rama Hare
Krishna
Rama
Hari 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 Ram Hari
Rama
Ram
Rama Hare Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hari
Hare
Hari Hari
Krishna
Krishna Hari
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hari 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 Ram Hari Ram 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 Hari
Rama
Hari
Rama Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hari
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare
Krishna
Rama
Krishna Hari Hari. You guys should unmute your microphones so the
Rama
devotees,
Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare
except
Hare
unless Tom's playing the guitar. I don't know if that
Hare
works.
Krishna Hare
You
Krishna
can try it if you want.
Krishna Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hari
Rama
Hari
Hare
Hari
Rama
Ram Hari Rama
Rama
Ram
Rama Hare
Hari
Hare
Hari
Hare
Hari
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Krishna.
Krishna Hare
You,
Hare
Yamuna's is okay.
Rama
Krishna
Rama Hare Hare
Krishna,
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
unmute your
Krishna
mic so
Hare
people
Hare
can
Hare
hear you
Rama
chanting. Everybody.
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Krishna Hari
Hare
Hari
Krishna
Hari
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hari
Krishna
Ram
Hare Hare Hare
Ram
Rama
Ram
Hare
Hari
Rama
Hari Hari Krishna Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hari
Hare
Hari
Krishna
Hari
Krishna
Ram Hari
Krishna Hare
Ram
Hare Hare Rama Hare
Ram
Rama
Ram Hari Hari Hari
Rama
Krishna
Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hari
Hare
Hari Hari
Rama Hare
Ram Hari
Rama
Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama Hare Hare
Hari Hari
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Rama
Hari
Hare
Hari
Rama
Hari Ram Hari Ram
Rama
Ram
Rama
Ram
Hare Hare
Hari
Hare
Hari
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna
Rama
Hari
Hare
Hari
Rama
Hari Ram Hari Ram
Rama Rama
Ram
Hare Hare
Hari
Hare
Hari
Krishna Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare Hare Hare
Krishna
Rama Hare
Krishna
Rama
Hari 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 Ram
Rama
Hari
Rama Hare Hare Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Hari
Krishna
Hari
Krishna
Hari
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama
Krishna Krishna Hari Hari Hari
Rama
Ram
Rama Hare 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 Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hari Hari
Krishna
Hari
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare
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 Krishna
Rama Hare Rama
Krishna Krishna Hari Hari Hari
Rama
Ram
Rama Hare 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 Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hari
Krishna
Hari Hari
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare
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 Krishna
Rama Hare Rama
Krishna Krishna
Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Hari
Hare
Hari
Rama
Hari
Hare
Krishna
Rama
Hare Krishna
Rama Rama Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hari Hari
Krishna
Hari
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hari
Krishna
Ram
Krishna Hare Hare
Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama
Hari
Hare
Hari
Rama
Hari Krishna Hare
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hari 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 Ram Hari
Hare
Ram
Hare Rama
Ram
Hare Rama
Hari Hari Krishna Hare
Rama Rama Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hari
Hare
Hari
Krishna.
Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Hari Hari Hari
Hare Rama
Krishna
Hare
Hari
Rama
Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hari Hari
Hare
Hari
Krishna,
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Hari
Hare
Ram
Krishna Krishna
Hare.
Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama Hari
Rama
Hari
Hare
Hari
Rama
Krishna Hari Krishna
Rama Rama Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hari
Krishna
Hari
Hare
Hare
Hari
Ram,
Ram Hari
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Rama
Rama
Ram.
Rama Hari 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 Krishna
Rama
Hari
Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare
Rama
Krishna
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Hari
Hare.
Hari
Krishna
Hari
Hare
Ram
Hare
Hari Rama
Krishna
Rama Rama Hari
Rama
Hari
Rama
Hari
Hare
Krishna Hari
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare Krishna
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 Hari
Hare
Hari
Hare
Hari
Rama
Ram Hari
Hare
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama
Hare Ram.
Rama Rama
Rama Rama Hare
Hari
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hari
Hare
Hari
Rama
Hari
Hare
Ram
Rama
Hari Rama
Rama Rama Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama Hari
Krishna
Hari
Krishna
Hari
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hari
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare Hare Hare
Krishna
Rama Hare
Krishna
Rama
Hari 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 Ram
Rama
Hari
Rama Hare Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari
Rama
Hari
Rama Hare Krishna Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Hari
Rama Hare
Hari
Rama
Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna
Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hari
Krishna,
Hari Hari Rama
Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Hari
Hare
Hari
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Hari
Hare
Hari Hari
Hare Rama
Hari
Hare Rama
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 Hari
Hare
Hari Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hari Hari
Hare
Hari
Krishna,
Hari
Hare
Rama
Krishna.
Rama Rama Hari Hari
Rama
Hari
Rama
Krishna
Hare
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 Krishna
Hare Krishna
Krishna
Hare Krishna
Krishna Hari Hari Hari
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Hari
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Shri
Hari Hari
Krishna
Hari Rama
Chaitanya,
Hari Rama
Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Krishna
Prabhu
Krishna Hari
Nityananda,
Hari
Shri
Hari
Advaita
Rama
Gadadara,
Rama
Shri
Rama Hari
Bhaktari
Hari Hari
Gaura
Krishna Hare
Bhaktavinda,
Krishna
Shri Krishna.
Krishna Krishna Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari Hari Hari
Hare
Krishna
Krishna.
Krishna Krishna Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare
Rama Hare Krishna
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 Hare Rama Hare Rama
Rama Rama Hari Hari Hari
Rama
Krishna
Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare Krishna.
Rama
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Krishna Hare
Rama Rama Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
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 Krishna
Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Krishna.
Hare Hare Krishna Hare
Hare Rama
Krishna
Hare Rama
Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare
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 Rama
Krishna
Hare
Krishna.
Hare
Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Rama Hare Rama
Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare
Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare
Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama
Rama
Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Hare
Rama
Rama
Rama Hare
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare
Shri
Krishna.
Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya
Hare
Shri
Hare
Krishna
Rama Rama
Chaitanya
Rama Rama
Shri
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Chaitanya Shri Krishna
Krishna Hare
Chaitanya
Shri
Hare Rama
Krishna.
Rama
Shri Krishna
Rama
Chaitanya
Rama
Shri
Hare
Shri
Krishna.
Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare
Chaitanya
Krishna
Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Krishna
Prabhu
Hare Hare
Nityananda
Rama
Shri
Rama
Shri
Advaita
Krishna
Gadadhar
Chaitanya.
Shivasadi Gaur
Rama
Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Hare
Hari 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 Ram Hari Ram
Hare
Ram Ram Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Shri
Hare Rama
Krishna.
Rama
Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
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 Hare Hare Rama Rama
Ram Hari Hari Hari
Rama Rama
Krishna
Shri
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Hare Krishna
Chaitanya.
Hare
Krishna Krishna Hari
Hare
Hari
Hare Rama
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu
Rama
Nityananda
Rama Hare
Shri
Hare
Shri
Krishna
Advaita
Gadadhar
Gadadara.
Hare
Shivasadi
Hare Rama Rama
Govinda Jesus
Shivasari
Srila
Gora
Prabhupada
Rama
Bhaktavinda.
Shri
Rama
Krishna
Hare Hare
Jesus.
Krishna Hare
Jesus
Shri Krishna
Christ.
Chaitanya Prabhu
Hare
Nityananda
Hare Rama
Shri
Rama
Advaita
Jesus.
Shri
Rama
Advaita
Rama
Gadadhar
Hare Krishna
Shivasadi Gaura
Hare Krishna,
Bhaktivinda
Hare Krishna.
Krishna
Jesus
Hare
Srila
Rama
Prabhupada Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Rama Rama
Prabhu
Hare
Nityananda Shri
Shri
Advaita
Advaita
Gadadhar
Gadada.
Shivasadi
Hare Rama Rama
Jesus Srila Prabhupada Shri
Hare Krishna
Krishna
Hare Krishna Krishna
Chaitanya
Krishna Hare Hare
Prabhu
Hare
Nityananda
Rama Hare
Shri
Rama Rama
Advaita
Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Shivasari
Hare
Jesus,
Krishna.
Srila
Krishna Hare
Prabhupada, Shri
Hare Rama
Krishna
Rama
Chaitanya,
Jesus
Prabhu
Prabhupada.
Nityananda, Shri
Rama Rama
Advaita,
Hare Hare Krishna
Gadadhar,
Hare
Jesus
Shivasari Gaur,
Prabhupada.
Krishna Hare
Bhaktavinda.
Hare Rama
Jesus,
Rama
Srila Prabhupada, Shri
Jesus.
Krishna
Rama
Chaitanya,
Rama
Prabhu
Shri
Hare Hare
Nityananda,
Krishna.
Krishna Hare
Shri Advaita, Gadadhar,
Krishna Hare
Shivasari
Shri
Gaur,
Advaita
Bhaktavinda.
Gadada.
Rama Rama
Jesus,
Hare
Srila
Krishna.
Prabhupada, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhar, Shivasari Gaur, Bhaktavinda. Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta. Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gaura
Krishna.
Bhaktivedanta. Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Shri
Shri
Krishna
Krishna.
Chaitanya. Shiva
Rama Rama
Shri
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Chaitanya.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Jesus,
Hare
Shiva
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Hare
Rama
Jesus,
Rama
Shiva
Hare
Prabhupada,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Shri
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna.
Chaitanya,
Krishna
Prabhu
Krishna Hare
Nityananda,
Hare Rama
Shri
Hare Rama
Hare
Advaita
Krishna.
Gadadhar,
Rama
Shri
Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
Jesus,
Krishna
Srila
Hare Hare
Prabhupada
Rama Hare Rama
Hare
Chaitanya,
Krishna. Hare
Prabhu
Krishna.
Rama
Nityananda,
Rama Hare
Shri
Hare Krishna
Advaita
Hare
Gadadhar, Shivasari
Krishna
Gaura
Krishna Hare
Bhakta,
Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama
Jesus, Srila
Rama
Prabhupada,
Rama
Shri
Hare
Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare
Chaitanya, Prabhu
Shri
Nityananda, Shri
Krishna.
Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasari Gaura Bhakta,
Rama Rama Hare
Jesus,
Hare
Srila
Krishna Hare
Hare
Prabhupada,
Krishna
Shri
Krishna. Hare
Krishna
Krishna.
Chaitanya,
Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Prabhu
Hare
Krishna.
Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Jesus, Srila
Hare
Prabhupada,
Ram. Hare Ram.
Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Jesus, Srila Prabhupada,
Rama Rama Hare
Jesus,
Hare
Srila
Chaitanya,
Prabhupada,
Prabhu
Prabhu
Nityananda,
Nityananda, Shri
Krishna
Hare
Jesus,
Krishna
Krishna.
Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama
Krishna
Rama
Chaitanya,
Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Srila
Shri
Gora
Advaita,
Krishna
Harira.
Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama
Shivasari, Gaura Bhaktivinoda,
Rama Rama Hare
Jesus,
Krishna Hare Krishna
Prabhupada,
Krishna
Shri
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Chaitanya,
Rama Hare Rama
Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita,
Hare Krishna
Gadadhar,
Hare Krishna Krishna
Shivasari,
Krishna
Gaura
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Jesus,
Rama
Sri
Rama Hare
Prabhupada,
Hare
Sri
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya,
Hare
Prabhu Nityananda, Sri
Rama
Advaita,
Rama
Gadadhar,
Rama Hare Krishna
Shivasari, Gaura Bhakta, Jesus, Sri
Rama
Prabhupada, Sri Krishna
Rama Rama
Chaitanya,
Hare
Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Gadadhar,
Krishna
Shivasari,
Rama
Gaura
Rama
Bhakta,
Hare
Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Gadadhar, Srivasadi, Gaura Bhaktivinoda, Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Sri Krishna
Srila
Chaitanya,
Gora
Prabhu
Harida.
Mat, Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Gadadhar, Srivasadi, Gaura Bhaktivinoda, Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Sri Krishna, Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Gadadhar, Srivasadi, Gaura, Bhaktivinda, Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Sri
Srila Gora
Krishna
Harida.
Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Gadadhar, Srivasadi, Shri
Hare
Jesus,
Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Nityananda, Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Shri Advaita, Nityananda, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya,
Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare
Shri
Rama
Krishna
Rama Rama
Chaitanya,
Hare Hare
Shri
Hare
Krishna Chaitanya,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare
Shri
Rama
Krishna
Hare
Rama
Chaitanya,
Rama
Krishna.
Shri
Hare
Krishna Chaitanya,
Krishna Krishna
Shri
Hare
Krishna
Hare Rama Hare
Chaitanya,
Rama 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 Hare Krishna Krishna
Shri
Hare
Krishna
Hare Rama Hare
Chaitanya,
Rama
Shri Krishna
Rama Rama
Chaitanya,
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Shri Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya,
Hare Rama Hare
Shri
Rama
Krishna
Rama
Chaitanya,
Rama Hare
Shri
Krishna Hare Krishna
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 Chaitanya,
Krishna
Jai
Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama
Shri
Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Shri Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Chaitanya,
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Shri Krishna
Rama Rama
Chaitanya,
Hare
Jai
Krishna Hare
Shri
Krishna
Krishna Chaitanya, Nityananda, Nityananda, Shri
Hare
Advaita,
Hare
Shri Advaita, Nityananda, Shri Krishna
Krishna Krishna
Chaitanya,
Hare
Krishna
Shri
Chaitanya.
Advaita, Shri
Hare
Advaita,
Rama Hare Rama Rama Rama
Nityananda,
Hare
Nityananda,
Krishna Krishna Krishna
Shri
Hare
Krishna
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Rama Rama Hare
Shri
Hare Krishna Hare
Advaita, Shri Advaita,
Krishna Hare Hare
Nityananda,
Rama Hare Rama
Nityananda, Shri Krishna
Rama
Chaitanya,
Rama Hare Hare
Shri
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya,
Krishna
Shri
Hare Hare
Advaita,
Rama
Shri
Hare Rama
Advaita, Nityananda,
Rama
Nityananda,
Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare
Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Krishna
Jai
Krishna
Shri
Hare
Krishna
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Chaitanya, Hare Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram Hare Hare
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasadi Gora Bhaktivinoda, Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda,
Nityananda,
Sri Advaita Gadadhar,
Jesus,
Shivasadi Gora Bhaktivinoda, Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Sri Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya, Prabhu
Chaitanya, Prabhu
Nityananda, Sri
Nityananda,
Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasadi Gora
Gadadhar.
Bhaktivinoda, Jesus, Srila Prabhupada,
Jesus.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita
Advaita
Gadadhar,
Gadadhar,
Shivasadi Gora
Vasari Gura
Bhaktivinoda,
Bhaktivinoda,
Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Sri
Srila
Krishna Chaitanya,
Prabhupada,
Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar,
Gadadhar,
Shivasadi Gora
E nunca
Bhaktivinoda,
pensando deixa banda.
Vasari
Jesus, Srila Prabhupada,
Gadadhar,
Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasadi Gora Bhaktivinoda, Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasadi Gora Bhaktivinoda, Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Sri Krishna
Krishna,
Chaitanya, Prabhu
Prabhu
Nityananda, Sri
Nityananda,
Advaita
Sri
Gadadhar, Shivasadi Jesus, Srila Prabhupada, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasadi
Sri Gura
Nityananda,
Shri
Nityananda, Gaur,
Krishna Chaitanya,
Nityananda,
Hare
Gauranga, Gauranga,
Hare Rama,
Nityananda,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Gauranga,
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 Nityananda, Nityananda,
Rama, Rama,
Nityananda,
Rama Rama.
Nityananda,
Hare
Nityananda,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Nityananda, Nityananda,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Nityananda,
Hare
Nityananda,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Nityananda, Nityananda,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare
Nityananda,
Hare
Nityananda,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Nityananda, Nityananda,
Hare Rama,
Nityananda,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama
Nityananda,
Hare
Nityananda,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Nityananda,
Rama, Hare
Nityananda,
Rama
Nityananda,
Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Nityananda,
Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Nityananda, Nityananda,
Krishna,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Shri
Nityananda,
Krishna,
Nityananda, Nityananda,
Krishna, all
Shri
belongs
Krishna
to you,
Chaitanya,
my Lord.
Nityananda, Nityananda, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Shri Krishna,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Shri
Shri
Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya.
Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Oh, Krishna. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Shri Krishna
Shri
Chaitanya.
Krishna
Oh,
Chaitanya,
Shri Krishna
Shri Krishna,
Chaitanya.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri
Oh,
Krishna
Krishna.
Chaitanya, Shri Krishna
Wow,
Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna
my Lord.
Chaitanya,
Richness.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, 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 Jaya Shri Krishna,
Krishna.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Nityananda, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri
Shri
Krishna Chaitanya, Shri
Krishna.
Krishna Chaitanya, Shri 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 Krishna Chaitanya, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna
Krishna.
Chaitanya, Shri
Shri
Krishna
Krishna.
Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, oh
Dependence.
my Lord, Shri Krishna
Completely.
Chaitanya,
Krishna Hare Hare.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, oh Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya, Shri
Chaitanya.
Krishna Chaitanya,
Krishna
Shri
Chaitanya.
Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Radha Madhava, Radha Govinda, Radha
Radha.
Govinda, Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda,
Radha.
Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda,
Radha.
Radha
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 Govinda.
Govinda, Radha Govinda, Radha Radha
Radharani.
Govinda, Radha
Radharani.
Govinda, Radha Govinda,
Radharani.
Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Radha
Radharani.
Govinda, Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda,
Govinda.
Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Radha,
Radha
Radha
Govinda, Radha
Govinda,
Govinda,
Radha
Radha
Govinda,
Govinda,
Radha
Radha
Madhava,
Govinda, Radha
Radha
Govinda,
Govinda, Radha
Radha
Govinda,
Govinda,
Radha
Radha
Govinda,
Govinda,
Radha
Radha
Govinda, Radha
Govinda,
Radha Govinda,
Radha Govinda,
Radha
Radha
Govinda,
Govinda,
Radha Govinda,
Radha
Radhe
Govinda,
Govinda,
Radha
Radha
Govinda,
Govinda, Radha
Radha
Govinda,
Govinda,
Radha Govinda, Radha
Radha
Govinda,
Govinda,
Radha Govinda, Radha
Radha
Govinda,
Govinda, Shri Radha Govinda,
Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda,
Radha
Radha Govinda,
Govinda, only reality, Radha Govinda,
Govinda, Radha
Shri
Govinda,
Krishna, Shri
Radha
Krishna, Shri
Radha
Krishna,
Madhava, Radha
Shri
Madhava,
Krishna, Shri
Radha
Krishna,
Madhava,
Shri Krishna,
Radha
Shri
Madhava,
Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri
Radha
Krishna,
Madhava,
Shri Krishna,
Radha Madhava, Radha Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna
Shri Krishna,
Chaitanya,
Shri Krishna,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Hare
Shri Krishna
Krishna,
Chaitanya,
Krishna
Shri
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Hare
Shri Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya,
Chaitanya,
Shri Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Chaitanya,
Hare Krishna,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Shri Radha.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Oh my Lord Krishna,
Holy.
oh my Lord. Hare Krishna, Hare
Oh,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaur Bhaktavinda. Oh,
Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Shri Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura
all
Bhaktavinda.
glories to Chaitanya, my initiating spiritual master. All glories to Chintanami, my initiating spiritual master Samagari. All glories to my instructing spiritual master. All glories to my instructing spiritual master, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mute your mics, please. Mute your mics. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who wears a peacock feather in his crown, under the shade of his lotus feet, which are like desire trees, Jaya Shri Radharani, enjoys the transcendental mellow of an eternal consort. All glories to Chintanami, my initiating spiritual master, Samagari.
Bluetooth mode. The Bluetooth device is connected successfully.
All glories to Chintanami, my initiating spiritual master Samaguri. And all glories to my instructing spiritual master, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who wears a peacock feather in his crown. Under the shade of his lotus feet, which are like desire trees, Jaya Shri Radharani enjoys the transcendental mellow of an eternal consort. There is an entity who has the appearance of an adolescent boy, who is being inundated with the desire tree flowers falling from the fingertips of the damsels of heaven. There is an entity who has the appearance of an adolescent boy, and who has been inundated with the desire tree flowers falling from the fingertips of the damsels of heaven. That boy is completely carefree, situated in transcendental beatitude, as he sends forth waves of sound from his famed flute. He is encircled by thousands of effulgent milkmaids, whose garments are becoming loose again and again from their extreme pleasure at hearing the flute, and who are trying to hold them up. That adolescent boy, the pinnacle of munificence, places liberation from birth and death into the hands of his surrendered devotees. That adolescent boy, the pinnacle of munificence, places liberation from birth and death into the hands of his surrendered devotees. We worship that bluish young boy. That we worship that bluish young boy, in whom culminate the principal stimuli for the amorous love, who causes Radha to become languid with the beauty of his dancing, sidelong glances, and who in turn becomes languid with love when Sri Radha and her friends cast their sidelong glances at him. That boy's beauty, that boy's beauty, that boy's beauty. That boy's beauty. Like waves of nectar. That boy's beauty like waves of nectar. He engenders an extreme thirst in the eyes of Radha. In that boy's beauty, like waves of nectar, engenders an extreme thirst in the eyes of Radha. That boy's beauty, like waves of nectar, engenders engenders an extreme thirst. An extreme thirst in the eyes of Radha and her companions. That boy's beauty like waves of nectar. That boy's beauty like waves of nectar engenders an extreme thirst in the eyes of Radha and her companions. Radha and her companions. Radha and her companions. And conversely, their nectarian beauty, and their nectarious beauty Their nectareous beauty makes them thirsty to see them, makes him thirsty to see them. He is affectionately worshipped by Radha's wistful glances. He is affectionately worshipped by Radha's wistful glances. He is affectionately worshipped by Radha's wistful glances. uh, and he enjoys loving pastimes with Radha and her friends. And he enjoys loving pastimes with Radha and his friends. And her friends. And he enjoys loving pastimes with Radha and her friends. Oh, what happened here? Oh, there we go. Is this? Oh, not plugged in. Oh. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay. All right. Oh. Ah. He is affectionately worshipped by Radha and her wistful glances, and he enjoys loving pastimes with Radha and her friends on the bank of the Yamuna. We worship that young bluish boy, the source of the God of love, the source of the God of love, who has attained unchallenged dominion over love's sweetness. Who has attained unchallenged dominion over love's sweetness. Let the effulgence personified, Sri Krishna, shine within our hearts. Let the effulgence personified, Sri Krishna, shine within our hearts. He is wearing a bright peacock plume on his head. His face is steeped in sweet beauty, and his fresh youthfulness is bursting forth. Let the effulgence personified, Krishna, shine within our hearts. He is wearing a bright peacock plume on his head. He is wearing a bright peacock plume on his head. His face is steeped in sweet beauty. His face is steeped in sweet beauty. And his fresh youthfulness is bursting forth. And his flute is pouring out murmuring, nectareous sounds of rapture. On all sides, the milkmaids of Raj, who have blooming bud-like breasts, worship him in adoration. Indeed, he is amazing, the only enjoyer and the only source of enjoyment for the entire universe. Sri Krishna's eyes are long like petals of a blooming lotus. And he is very charming. His very charming lotus-like face is made all the more charming. Is made all the more charming. Sri Krishna's eyes are long, like petals of a blooming lotus, and his very charming lotus-like face is made all the more charming by his extremely beautiful and sweet, nectareous smiles. His profuse curling locks look delightful with their decoration of a proud peacock feathers. Let him, the embodiment of all effulgence, forever shine within my heart, which is outwardly greedy for the poisonous meat of sense objects, or inwardly greedy for the beauty of Sri Krishna. A beauty that binds the devotees' minds and causes burning pain at the time of separation. May the lotus of my Lord's face, may the lotus of my Lord's face blossom within the lake of my mind. May the lotus of my Lord's face blossom within the lake of my mind. The eyes of that face resemble lotus buds being half closed, and the delicate mirror-like orbs of his cheek are puffed nectareous honey of the flute sound. Krishna, 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 Krishna. The Shikshastika prayers. Only the most fortunate will relish the mad words of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Only the most fortunate will relish the mad words of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Which were mixed with jubilation, envy, agitation, submissiveness, and grief, all produced by ecstatic and loving emotions. All glories to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And all glories to Lord Nityananda. All glories to Advaita Chandra. And all glories to the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And all glories to the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was thus resided at Jagannath Puri, Leela, he was continuously overwhelmed night and day by separation from Krishna. While Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thus resided at Jagannath Puri, Leela, he was continuously overwhelmed night and day by separation from Krishna. Day and night he tasted transcendental blissful songs and verses with two associates, namely Swarab Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Roy. He relished the symptoms of various transcendental emotions. Such as jubilation, lamentation, anger, humility, anxiety, grief, eagerness, and satisfaction. He would recite his own verses expressing their meanings and emotions, and thus enjoy tasting them with these two friends. Sometimes the Lord would be absorbed in a particular emotion, and he would stay awake all night reciting related verses and relishing their taste. In great jubilation, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "My dear Swarup Damodar, my dear Swarup Damodar." And Ramananda Roy, know first from me that the chanting of the holy names, know from me that the chantings of the holy names is the most feasible means of salvation in this age of Kali, is the most feasible means of salvation in this age of Kali. In great jubilation, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "My dear Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy, know from me that the chanting of the holy names is the most feasible means of salvation in this age of Kali." Oh, Krishna, Krishna, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. In this age of Kali, the process of worshiping Krishna, in this age of Kali, the process of worshiping Krishna is to perform sacrifice by chanting the holy name of the Lord. One who does so is certainly very intelligent, and he attains the shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the name of Krishna. In this age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the name of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. Simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna, simply by chanting the holy name of Lord Krishna, one can be freed from all undesirable habits. This is the means of awakening all good fortune and initiating the waves of love for Krishna. Let there be all victory for the chanting of the holy name of Lord Krishna, which can cleanse the mirror of the heart and stop the miseries of the blazing fire of material existence. Let there be all victory for the chanting of the holy name of Lord Krishna, which can cleanse the mirror of the heart and stop the miseries of the blazing fire of material existence. That chanting is the waxing moon that spreads the white lotus of good fortune for all living entities. It is the life and soul of all education. The chanting of the holy name of Krishna expands the blissful ocean of transcendental life. The chanting of the holy name expands the blissful ocean of transcendental life. It gives a cooling effect to everyone and enables one to taste full nectar at every step. Enables one to taste full nectar at every step. The performing of congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one can destroy the sinful condition of material existence, purify the unclean heart, and awaken all varieties of devotional service. The result of chanting is that one awakens his love for Krishna and tastes transcendental bliss. Ultimately, one attains the association of Krishna and engages in devotional service, as if immersing himself in a great ocean of love. The result of chanting is one awakens his love for Krishna and tastes transcendental bliss. Let's look at the word for word here. Krishna prema ugun. Let's see here. Krishna prema udgama, awakening love for Krishna. Prema amrita asvadana, tasting the transcendental bliss of love for Krishna. Krishna prapati, attaining the lotus feet of Krishna. Seva amrita, the nectar of service. Samadre, in the ocean, immersing. Yeah. Okay. Krishna. Yeah, there's something with this verse here. Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to be critical, but it's just no. I'll just say it because it just needs to be said. The result of chanting, the translation, the result of chanting is that one awakens one's love for Krishna and tastes transcendental bliss. Ultimately, one attains association of Krishna. No, you already attained association with Krishna. See, that's the thing. See, it's in the word for word, you can see there's no mention that ultimately it's already in present term because you actually do it. That's the result of chanting. One awakens his love for Krishna and tastes transcendental bliss. See, that's the service of Krishna, the loving service of Krishna. Already, it's there. Ultimately, one no. See, Krishna prema udgana, awakening love for Krishna, prema amrita, asvadana, tasting transcendental bliss of love for Krishna. See, that's right. And Krishna prapati, attaining the lotus feet of Krishna. That's what you've done. It's not no ultimately. You've got it doesn't even say ultimately there. Seva amrita, the nectar of service. That's, yeah. See, that's all in present time. Yeah. See, otherwise there's separation. It's, see. So anyway, it's good you go back into the word for word and you can see, because otherwise you're seeing a difference between, this is the thing. Seeing a difference between loving service of Krishna, devotional service of Krishna from ecstatic chanting, and that is the loving service of Krishna. Otherwise there's a separate, you're saying attain. No, you've got it there. So anyway, sometimes verses, I see stuff like that. Krishna can help you, and because it's got to be logical, it's got to make sense. You guys all right out there? It seems like everybody's kind of moving around or gone or yeah. Okay. Hare Krishna. Where was I? Here we go. What happened here? Here it is. Okay. Lamentation and humility awoke within Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he began reciting another of his own verses. By hearing the meaning of that verse, one can forget all unhappiness and lamentation. Uta, word for word, Uta Visada, there was an awakening. Maybe I'll take this off now. Okay. Uta Visada, there was an awakening of lamentation. Danya, humility, Pade, recites. Apana sloka, his own verse. Yahara, of which Atara Suni, hearing the meaning. Saba, all. Yaya, go away. Dukkha, sloka, unhappiness and lamentation. Lamentation and humility awoke within Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he began reciting another of his own verses. By hearing the meaning of that verse, one can forget all unhappiness and lamentation. Oops. Yeah. Yeah, that's the idea of having purports of these things. See, the purport drives away the meaning. If you can understand the meaning of these verses, is very powerful. Oops. Translation. O my Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, in your holy name there is all good fortune for all the living entities, for the living entity. And therefore you have many names such as Krishna and Govinda, by which you expand yourself. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. We got to get some. Okay, Christina, why don't you read something? Are you there, Christina? Oops. Let's see if she comes back here. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay, whatever. You know, it's not. Okay, you want to read us something?
Hare Krishna. Yeah. I was resting and relishing, and wow. What? You have a suggestion?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, let me see here. Whoops, come on. What happened here? Oh, wrong thing. Okay. All right. Yes. Chapter 17. Yeah. Chapter 17 of Anchalila. Anchalila.
Chapter 17. I'm going to get it.
Okay,
Chapter
go ahead.
17, Anchalila. If you excuse me for a while.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm a bit stoned, so it is not going very fast.
That's very good.
And we back. Anjalila, chapter 17, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be right back. Krishna, Hare Rama.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Yeah, that is
Rama,
so.
Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Rama.
Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Let's shine a light. Let's shine. Let's Krishna's light shine abundantly into our hearts. Hare Krishna. Hare Rama. Oh, Shri Krishna, you're so merciful to me. I'm so lucky to have you as Guru, Srila Gora Haridas Maharaj. You're the most wonderful person on this planet, distributing the
Saying a lot. Oh, me, the most wonderful.
distributing the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. And you know, I experience we cannot control the Lord. The Lord is coming whenever He likes it.
Yeah, that's right, huh?
Whenever He wants.
You see how he operates, huh? You're learning how he operates.
Yeah, I have to realize, I think Joao is with me. I think you still know Joao.
Oh, yeah. Hey.
Yes. And Krishna really, he told me, go and get him. He has to be saved and liberated.
Oh,
And
okay.
he is doing miracles. He's doing miracles.
That's great.
Yeah, but I'm now going to figure out how he can hear this as well, because if I take out the earplugs, I don't know if there is an echo. I'm going to check it.
Okay, try it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll
Is
just
there
if
an
I mute
echo?
yeah, I just have to mute. I just have to mute my microphone.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay. Whoa. Wonders are happening, really. If we think we know things, Krishna is coming, saying, you don't know it. It's me who knows it. So he has the intelligence of all intelligence. He gives us the intelligence because he is the intelligence of all the intelligent. There is no intelligence without the Lord. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And it's the only intelligence that can set us free from these modes of nature, from all the hurt, from material life. Hare Krishna. I'm now too stoned to even remember the words, but that doesn't matter. We transcend above the modes of nature through chanting the Hare. Oh God, I'm really stoned. Through chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, Srila Gaura Haridas, my spiritual master. I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vindai. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radharani. To all the devotees of the Lord in the world. To all the intimate devotees of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. To all the devotees of the Lord in the sun and everywhere. Oh God. Whew. Sri Krishna is a Lord of wonders. Whatever we ask him with a pure heart, he is giving it. Yeah. Anything else will be given unto you. This verse is coming. Because our wish, when we have the Lord in our heart abundantly shining, we only have one wish, that's to serve the Lord in our heart. Hare Krishna. To serve the Lord in our heart. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And when we wish something, when we wish for another person, to distribute the mercy that is working here in our Sangha through Srila Prabhupada, through our Guru. Just a second to if you just listen, only listen. Yeah, thank you. Love you. The mercy that Srila Prabhupada gave our Guru, the instruction to spread the mercy of Lord Chaitanya that is working here in our Sangha. The hearts of the intimate devotees are becoming more and more fulfilled of His mercy. And then from that heart, when that heart wishes to distribute that mercy to another person who is willing to receive the Lord, wonders are happening because the Lord is very merciful. The Lord is giving causeless mercy to anyone who is ready for it to receive. And it's my duty, if anybody asks for help, no matter where he comes from or what he did, to give him that help. Because the Lord is asking me to, from a pure heart. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. May everyone be blessed with the love, with the love and devotion from Radharani. Make everybody's heart be purified and be full of love. Everybody who is listening in this moment, may he please be blessed by the Lord. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. May there only be truth. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Oh God. Chapter 17. Oh, I only have chapter 17. It's another book. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare. Chapter 17. Let's see. The bodily transformation of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Page 529 in my book. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Yeah, I liked what you said, Guru, yesterday, that once you have an intimate relationship with the Lord, you can also start to experiment with things, and then He is going to show you very clearly how things really are. Whew, that's so wonderful. Chapter 5 to 9, chapter 5 to 9. Okay. I try without glasses to read. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Here it's Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I am simply trying to write about Lord Gaurachandra's transcendental activities. I am simply trying to write about Lord Gaurachandra's transcendental activities. And spiritual madness. And spiritual madness, which are very wonderful and uncommon. I dare to write of them only. I dare to write of them only because I have heard from the mouths of those who have personally seen the Lord's activities. I dare to write of them only because I have heard from the mouths of those who have personally seen the Lord's activities. Hare Krishna. I dare to write of them only because I have heard from the mouths of those who have personally seen the Lord's activities. Coming right from the source. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. The words of truth that are written in this book as well. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Lord Nityananda. Nityananda. All glories to Advaita Chandra. All glories to Advaita Chandra. And all glories to all the devotees of the Lord. All glories to all the devotees of the Lord. All glories to Srila Gaura Haridas Maharaj. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Absorbed in ecstasy. Hare Krishna. Absorbed in ecstasy. Absorbed in ecstasy. Absorbed in ecstasy. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Radha Krishna. Acted and talked like a madman day and night. He acted and talked like a madman day and night. In the company of Shvarupa Damodara Goswami, Ramananda Raya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu once passed half the night talking about the pastimes of Lord Krishna. In the company of Shvarupa Damodara Goswami and Ramananda Raya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu once passed half a night talking about the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna. As they talked of Krishna, Swarupa Damodara Goswami would sing songs exactly suitable for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's transcendental emotions. Exactly suitable for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's transcendental emotions. Songs exactly suitable for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's transcendental emotions. Hare Krishna. To complement the ecstasy. Krishna, to complement the ecstasy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ramananda Raya would quote verses from the books of Vijapati and Kandidasa, and especially from the Gita Govinda. From the Gita Govinda. Why? Jayadeva Goswami. Jayadeva Goswami. At intervals, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would also recite a verse. Then, in great lamentation, he would explain it. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed half a night experiencing varieties of emotions. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed half the night experiencing varieties of emotions. Finally, after making the Lord lie down on his bed, Swarupa Damodara and Ramananda Raya returned to their homes. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's personal servant, Govinda, Govinda, lay down at the door of his room, and the Lord very loudly chanted the Hare Krishna mantra all night. The Lord very loudly chanted the Hare Krishna mantra all night. Suddenly, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard the vibration of Krishna's flute. Suddenly, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard the vibration of Sri Krishna's flute. Then, in ecstasy, he began to depart to see Lord Krishna. Then, in ecstasy, he began to depart. He began to depart to see Lord Krishna. Then in ecstasy he began to depart to see Lord Krishna. All three doors were fastened as usual, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in great ecstasy, nevertheless got out of the room and left the house. He went to a cow shed on the southern side of Shimadvara. There, there, the Lord fell down unconscious. The Lord fell down unconscious among cows from the district of Tailanga. Meanwhile, not hearing any sounds from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Govinda immediately sent for Svarupa Dara and opened the doors. Meanwhile, not hearing any sounds from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Govinda immediately sent for Svarupa Damodara and opened the doors. Then Svarupa Damodara Goswami, he lit a torch and went out with all the devotees to search for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. After searching here and there, they finally came to the cow shed near the Shinadvara. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. And there they saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lying unconscious among the cows. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And there they saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lying unconscious among the cows. His arms and legs had entered the trunk of his body, exactly like those of tortoise. His mouth was foaming. There were eruptions on his body, and tears flowed from his eyes. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Tears flowed from his eyes. Hare Krishna. And tears flowed from his eyes. His arms and legs had entered the trunk of his body, exactly like those of tortoise. His mouth was foaming. There were eruptions on his body. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. There were eruptions on his body and tears. There were eruptions on his body. Krishna. And tears flowed from his eyes. Hare Krishna, tears flowed from his eyes. As the Lord lay there unconscious, his body resembled a large pumpkin. Externally, he was completely inert, but within he felt overwhelming transcendental bliss. Inside, he felt overwhelming transcendental bliss. All the cows around the Lord were sniffing his transcendental body. Hare Krishna. All the cows around the Lord. Other cows around the Lord. Krishna. Were sniffing his transcendental body. When the devotees tried to check them, they refused to give up their association with the transcendental body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The devotees tried to rouse the Lord by various means. Krishna! Ooh, but his consciousness did not return. Therefore, they all lifted him and brought him back home. All the devotees began to chant the Hare Krishna mantra very loudly in the Lord's ears. And after a considerable time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he regained consciousness. When he regained consciousness, his arms and legs came out of his body. And his whole body returned to normal. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stood up and then sat down again. Looking here and there, he inquired from Shvarupa Damodari, "Where have you brought me?" After hearing the vibration of the flute, of a flute, I went to Vrindavana. Krishna. And there I saw that Krishna, the son of Maharajananda, was playing on his flute in the pasturing grounds. He brought Srimati Radharani to a bower by signaling with his flute. He brought Srimati Radharani to a bower by signaling with his flute. He brought Srimati Radharani. He brought Srimati Radharani. He brought Srimati Radharani to a bower by signaling with his flute. Then he entered within that bower to perform pastimes with her. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I entered the bower just behind Krishna, my ears captivated by the sounds of his ornaments. My ears captivated by the sound of his ornaments. Krishna, Hare Hare. I saw Krishna. I saw Krishna. I saw Krishna and the gopis enjoying all kinds of pastimes while laughing and joking together. Hearing their vocal expressions enhanced the joys of my ears. Hearing their vocal expressions enhanced the joy of my ears. Just then, all of you made a tumultuous sound and brought me back here by force. Because you brought me back here, I could no longer hear the nectarian voices of Krishna and the gopis. I could no longer hear the nectarian voices of Krishna and the gopis, nor could I hear the sounds of their ornaments or the flute. In great ecstasy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to Svarupa Damodara in a faltering voice, "My ears are dying of thirst." My ears are dying of thirst. Shri Krishna, my ears are dying of thirst, my Lord. Please recite something to quench this thirst. Let me hear it. Understanding the ecstatic emotions of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Svarupa Damodari in a sweet voice recited the following verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. The gopi said, "My dear Lord Krishna, my dear Lord Krishna, where is that woman? Where is that woman? Where is that woman? Where is that woman within the three worlds who would not be captivated by the rhythms of the sweet songs coming from your wonderful flute? Who would not fall down from the path of charity in this way? Who would not fall down from the path of charity in this way? Your beauty is the most sublime. Your beauty is the most sublime. Your beauty is the most sublime within the three worlds. Upon seeing your beauty, even cows, birds, animals, and trees in the forest are stunned in jubilation upon seeing your beauty. Even the cows, the birds, animals, and trees in the forest. Even the flowers, even the flowers, they are stunned in jubilation. Upon hearing this verse, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, overwhelmed with the ecstasy of the gopis, began to explain it. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, began to explain. Oh, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, the gopis entered the arena of the rasa dance in ecstasy. The gopis entered the arena of the rasa dance in ecstasy. But after hearing Krishna's words of negligence and detachment, they understood that he was going to renounce them. Thus they began to chastise him in anger. Oh, it's my alarm clock going. Oh, unfortunately, my alarm clock is going, so I have to go. But before I go, I would love to hear from Guru an explanation of the last verse, if you wouldn't mind.
You have to read,
read
because
yeah.
I had to shut the generator off. Okay, so read the verse again. I'll mute, and then I'll explain. Hopefully.
Okay. Love you. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, the gopis entered the arena of the rasa dance in ecstasy. But after hearing Krishna's words of negligence and detachment, they understood that he was going to renounce them. Thus they began to chastise him in anger. I can read one more verse maybe. Oh, dear lover, they said, please answer just one question. Who among all the youthful women within this universe is not attracted by the sound of your flute? Hare Krishna. But I read that other verse again. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, the gopis entered the arena of the rasa dance in ecstasy. But after hearing Krishna's words of negligence and detachment, They understood that he was going to renounce them. Thus they began to chastise him in anger. Yes, they want the Lord, right? Yes, I like to hear your explanation. Yes, I think yes, I feel it. I see it, but I want to love to hear it from you.
Okay. Is his words
His
of
words of
is it explained?
Yeah, it's that after hearing Krishna's words of negligence and detachment, they understood that he was going to renounce them. Thus they began to chastise him in anger.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
No.
What are those words of
words of
negligence? What are they?
What are they?
Yeah, what are they? Negligence. Seriously. Hare Krishna. I read a bit more. My dear Lord Krishna, where is that woman? Where is that woman within the three worlds who would not be captivated by the rhythms of the sweet songs coming from your wonderful flute? Who would not fall down from the path of chastity in this way? Your beauty is the most sublime within the three worlds. Upon seeing your beauty, even cows, birds, animals, and trees in the forest are in jubilation. Upon hearing this verse, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, overwhelmed with ecstasy of the gopis, began to explain it. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, the gopis entered the arena of the rasa dance in ecstasy. But after hearing Krishna's words of negligence and detachment, they understood that he was going to renounce them. Thus they began to chastise him in anger. That's the verse.
Okay, mute your mic. Well, you'll get plenty of experience of that. The devotees, it's like entering the arena of the rasa dance. See, rasa dance is between the soul and the supreme soul. It causes a dance of this rasa, very spontaneous, very ecstatic. Yeah. So every time the devotee comes to meet with Krishna like this, and sometimes Krishna doesn't seem to be interested. It just seems like there's the words of neglect. So here you're chanting the verses, or chanting the name and trying to connect with the Lord. And those words are like he's neglecting you because you can't feel him there. It's like the words are there, but you don't feel that rasa, awakening. So it's the words of neglect. It's like, so they're words, and it's like, oh, I'm being neglected because I'm not feeling the Lord's presence. And sometimes the gopis, see, like here, you're going to see more of that because the gopis would see, sometimes he's enjoying with somebody else, and neglecting you. You can see that as more rasa enters the bodies of the devotees. Not everyone is always in an apparently ecstatic union, so some are feeling withered and some may feel like their Lord's neglecting them and going to somebody else, and that kind of thing.
See, that didn't even occur to me.
What?
when the Lord goes to somebody else, that is, I accept that because that's how it is. That's just how it is. He goes to other people. I'm not gonna. Why wither away if he goes to other people? It's something.
No. Withering it might be you might be feeling withered. You might feel that may be neutral, and you might feel angry about it. Gopis, they feel different things, and it's all part of the symptoms of love, because it's all about Lord Krishna. It's all about their relationship with Krishna. Yeah. And I mean, you feel what you feel, and another person will feel what they feel. It's all very individual. Some of the gopis have, somebody mute your mic. Some of the gopis have like the awakening of jealous anger, different things. But again, you can't really imitate it. It may be sometimes, like in our stages here, it might be mixed with material emotions. Sometimes there's mixtures, and as we're getting purified. So anyway, gradually things are developing here. Anyway, that's what I would say about these things. What did you say, Christina?
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for this explanation, but there were two words in English that I didn't understand, which were negligence and renouncement, and I understood them in a completely different way. Now I understand these words. Yeah, of course, Hare Krishna. That is how it can be, and that is. It says here that it's how it can be. Hare Krishna. Yeah. It's for everybody, like you say, personally, how they experience the Lord, I think, regarding this matter. Hare Krishna, yeah. And anyway, thank you so much. I would love to read more. Oh dear love. But unfortunately, my alarm clock went, so I have to go now. But thank you so much for reading. Thank you, River, for being here, and everybody else who was there. And send you all my love. Have a blessed day.
Thank you for reading. Okay, River, you want to read? I can't hear you. Want to read?
I was reading before.
Is that enough for you? You can have Tom read then.
No, I will read. No, I will read.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to go now. I have to go to the dentist.
Yeah.
Okay, good luck with that.
I'm going to read from the Krishna book, the Rasa dance. I have to find it again. It is chapter. Very good. Where's it gone? Anyway, it's one of the. I will read one of the gopis. Hiding from gopis. Okay, the Rasa dance introduction. Yeah. Chapter 32 of the Krishna book, description of the rasa dance. Yeah, chapter 32. All glories to my spiritual master and the Parampara. Jai Shila Gauraja, Haridas, Jai Shila Prabhupada, Jai Acharyas, Jai Goswamis, Jai Panchatattva. Jai. Okay. Can you hear me okay? Oh. Thus, hearing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, speaking to pacify them, the gopis became very much pleased, and not only by hearing his words, but also by touching the hands and legs of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They became completely relieved from the great suffering of separation. After this, the Supreme Personality of Godhead began his rasa dance. When one dances in the midst of many girls, it is called a rasa dance. So Krishna began to dance among the most beautiful and fortunate girls within the three worlds. The gopis of Vrindavan, who were attracted to him, danced with Krishna hand in hand. Krishna's rasa dance should never be compared with any kind of material dance, such as a ball dance or a society dance. The rasa dance is a completely spiritual performance. In order to establish this fact, Krishna, the supreme mystic, expanded himself in many forms and stood beside each gopi. Placing his hands on the shoulders of the gopi on each side of him, he began to dance in their midst. The mystic expansions of Krishna were not perceived by the gopis because Krishna appeared alone to each of them. Each gopi thought that Krishna was dancing with her alone. Above that wonderful dance flew many aeroplanes carrying the denizens of heaven, denizens of the heavenly planet, who were very anxious to see the wonderful dance of Krishna with the gopis. The Gandharvas and the Kinnaras began to sing, and accompanied by their respective wives, all Gandharvas began to shower flowers on the dancers. As the gopis and Krishna danced together, a very blissful musical sound was produced from the tinkling of their bells, ornaments and bangles. It appeared that Krishna was a greenish sapphire locket in the midst of a golden necklace decorated with valuable stones. While Krishna and the gopis danced, they displayed extraordinary bodily features, the movements of their legs, placing their hands on one another, the movements of their eyebrows, their smiling, the movements of the breasts of the gopis and their clothes, their earrings, their cheeks, their hair with flowers. As they sang and danced, these combined together to appear like cloud, thunder, snow, and lightning. Krishna's bodily features appeared just like a group of clouds. Their songs were like thunder. The beauty of the gopis appeared to be just like lightning in the sky. And the drops of perspiration visible on their faces appeared like falling snow. In this way, both the gopis and Krishna fully engaged in dancing. The necks of the gopis became tinted with red due to the necks of the gopis the necks of the gopis became tinted with red due to the desire to enjoy Krishna more and more. To satisfy them, Krishna began to clap his hands in time with their singing. Actually, the whole world is full of Krishna's singing, but it is appreciated in different ways by different kinds of living entities. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is dancing, and every living entity is also dancing. But there is a difference in the dancing in the spiritual world and in the material world. This is expressed by an author of the This is expressed by the author of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, who says that the master dancer is Krishna and everyone is his servant. Everyone is trying to imitate Krishna's dancing. Those who are actually in Krishna consciousness respond rightly to the dancing of Krishna. They do not try to dance independently, but those in the material world try to imitate Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The living entities are dancing under the direction of Krishna's Maya and are thinking that they are equal to Krishna. But this is not a fact. In Krishna consciousness, this misconception is absent. For a person in Krishna consciousness knows that Krishna is the Supreme Master and everyone is his servant. One has to dance to please Krishna, not to imitate or to become equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The gopis wanted to please Krishna, and therefore, as Krishna sang, they responded and encouraged him by saying, "Well done, well done." Sometimes they presented beautiful music for his pleasure, and he responded by praising their singing. When some of the gopis became very tired from dancing and moving their bodies, they placed their hands on the shoulders of Krishna. Then their hair would loosen and flowers fell to the ground. When they placed their hands on Krishna's shoulder, they became overwhelmed by the fragrance of his body, which emanated from the lotus or the aromatic flowers and the pulp of sandalwood. They became filled with attraction for him, and they began to kiss one another. Some gopis touched Krishna's cheeks. Some gopis touched Krishna cheek to cheek, and Krishna began to offer them chewed betel nuts from his mouth, which they exchanged with great pleasure by kissing. And by accepting those betel nuts, the gopis spiritually advanced. The gopis became tired after long singing and dancing. Krishna was dancing beside them, and to alleviate their fatigue, they took Sri Krishna's hand and placed it on their raised breast. Krishna's hand as well as the breasts of the gopis are eternally auspicious. Therefore, when they combined, both of them became spiritually enhanced. The gopis so enjoyed the company of Krishna that the husbands of the goddess of fortune, I'm going to read that again. The gopis so enjoyed the company of Krishna, the husband of the goddess of fortune, that they forgot that they had any other husband in the world. And upon being embraced by the arms of Krishna and dancing and singing with him, they forgot everything. The Srimad Bhagavatam thus describes the beauty of the gopis while they were rasa dancing with Krishna. There were lotus flowers over both their ears, and their faces were decorated with sandalwood pulp. They wore tilak, and they wore They wore tilak, and there were drops of sweat on their smiling mouths. From their feet came the tinkling sound of ankle bells as well as bangles. The flowers within their hairs were falling to the lotus feet of Krishna, and he was very satisfied. As stated in the Brahma Samhita, all these gopis are expansions of Krishna's pleasure potency. Touching their bodies with his hands and looking at their pleasing eyes, Krishna enjoyed the gopis exactly as a child plays with the reflection of his body in a mirror. When Krishna touched the different parts of their bodies, the gopis felt surcharged with spiritual energy. They could not adjust their loosened clothes, although they tried to keep them properly. Their hair and garments became scattered, and their ornaments loosened as they forgot themselves in the company of Krishna. While Krishna was enjoying the company of the gopis in the rasa dance, the astonished demigods and their wives gathered in the sky. The moon, being afflicted with a sort of lust, began to watch the dance and became stunned with wonder. The gopis had prayed to the goddess Katyayana to have Krishna as their husband. Now Krishna was fulfilling their desire by expanding himself in as many forms as there were gopis and enjoying them exactly as a husband. Srila Sukadev Goswami has remarked that Krishna is self-sufficient. He is Atmaram. He doesn't need anyone else for his satisfaction. Because the gopis wanted Krishna as their husband, he fulfilled their desire. When Krishna saw that the gopis were tired from dancing with him, he immediately began to smear his hands all over their faces so that their fatigue would be satisfied. In order to reciprocate the kind hospitality of Krishna, the gopis began to look at him lovingly. They were overjoyed by the auspicious touch of the hand of Krishna. Their smiling cheeks shone with beauty, and they began to sing the glories of Krishna with transcendental pleasure. As pure devotees, the more the gopis enjoyed Krishna's company, the more they became enlightened with his glories, and thus they reciprocated with him. They wanted to satisfy Krishna by glorifying his transcendental pastimes. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of all masters, and the gopis wanted to worship him for his unusual exhibition of mercy upon them. They wanted to satisfy Krishna by glorifying his transcendental pastimes. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of all masters, and the gopis wanted to worship him for his unusual exhibition of mercy upon them. Both the gopis and Krishna entered the water of the Yamuna, just to relieve their fatigue from the rasa dance. The lily flower garlands around the neck of the gopis were strewed to pieces due to their embracing the body of Krishna. And the flowers were reddish from being smeared from the kumkuma on their breasts. The bumblebees were humming about in order to get honey from the flowers. Krishna and the gopis entered the water of the the Yamuna, just as an elephant enters a water. Sorry, what was that? The bumblebees were humming about in order to get honey from the flowers. Krishna and the gopis entered the water of the Yamuna, just as an elephant enters a water tank with his many females, with his many female companions. Both the gopis and Krishna forgot their real identity, playing in the water, enjoying each other's company, and relieving the fatigue of the rasa dancing. The gopis began to splash water on the body of Krishna, all the while smiling, and Krishna enjoyed this, as Krishna was taking pleasure in the joking words and splashing water. The demigods in the heavenly planets began to shower flowers. The demigods thus praised the super excellent rasa dance of Krishna, the supreme enjoyer, and his pastimes with the gopis in the water of the Yamuna. After this, Lord Krishna and the gopis came out of the water and began to stroll along the bank of the Yamuna, where a nice breeze was blowing, carrying aroma of different kinds of flowers all over the water and land. While strolling on the bank of the Yamuna, Krishna recited various kinds of poetry. He thus enjoyed the company of the gopis in the soothing moonlight of autumn. Sex desire is especially excited in the autumn season. But the wonderful thing about Krishna's association with the gopis is that there was no question of sex desire. Krishna, Krishna. It was, as clearly stated in the Bhagavad Gita description by Sukadev Goswami, namely, the sex impulse was completely controlled. There is a distinction between Lord Krishna's dancing with the gopis and the ordinary dancing of living entities within the material world. In order to clear up further misconceptions about the rasa dance and the affairs of Krishna and the gopis, Maharaj Prakshit, the Hare of the Srimad Bhagavatam, told Sukadev Goswami, Krishna appeared on the earth to establish the regulative principles of religion and to curb the predominance of irreligion. But the behavior of Krishna and the gopis might encourage irreligious principles in the material world. I am simply surprised that he would act in such a way, enjoying the company of others' wives in the dead of the night. This statement of Maharaj Parikshit was very much appreciated by Sukadev Goswami. That the answer anticipates the abominable acts of Mayavadi impersonalists who place themselves in the position of Krishna and enjoy the company of young girls and women. The basic Vedic injunction never allow a person to enjoy sex with another woman except one's own wife. Krishna's appreciation of the gopis appeared to be distinctly in violation of these rules. Maharaj Parikshit understood the total situation from Sukadev Goswami. Yet to further clear the transcendental nature of Krishna and the gopis in the rasa dance, he expressed his surprise. This is very important in order to check the unrestricted association with women by the Prakta Sahaja. Is that right, Mina? Prakta. Yeah. In his statement, Maharaj Parikshit has used several important words which require clarification. The first word, jugupsitam, means abominable. The first doubt of Maharaj Parikshit was as follows. Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead who has advented himself to establish religious principles. Why then did he mix with others' wives in the dead of the night and enjoying dancing, embracing and kissing? According to Vedic injunctions, this is not allowed. Also, when the gopis first came to him, he gave instruction to them to return to their homes, to call the wives of other persons or young girls, and enjoying dancing with them is certainly abominable according to the Vedas. Why should Krishna have done this? Another word used here is aptakama. I think that's right. Aptakama. So many take it for granted that Krishna was very lusty among young girls. But Parikshit Maharaj said that this was not possible. He could not be lusty. First of all, from the material calculation, he was only 8 years old. At that age, a boy cannot be lusty. Aptakama means the Supreme Personality of Godhead is self-satisfied. Even if he was lusty, he does not need to take help from others to satisfy his lusty desires. The next point is that although not lusty himself, he might have been induced by the lusty desires of the gopis. But Maharaj Parikshit then used another word, yadu patai, or is it pati? Patai, which indicates that Krishna is the most exalted personality in the dynasty of the Yadus. The kings in the dynasty of the Yadu were considered to be the most pious, and their descendants were also like that. Having taken birth in that family, how could Krishna have been induced? Even by the gopis, it is considered, therefore, that it was not possible for Krishna to do anything abominable. But Maharaj Parikshit was in doubt as to why Krishna acted in this way. What was the real purpose? Another word Maharaj Parikshit used when he addressed Sukadev Goswami is survrata, which means to take a vow, to enact pious activities. Sukadev Goswami was an educated brahmachari, and under the circumstances, it was not possible for him to indulge in sex. This is strictly prohibited for brahmacharis, and what to speak of a brahmachari like Sukadev Goswami. But because the circumstances of the rasa dance were very suspect, Maharaj Parikshit inquired for clarification from Sukadev Goswami. Sukadev Goswami immediately replied that transgressions of religious principles by the Supreme Controller testify to his great power. For example, fire can consume any abominable thing that is the manifestation of the supremacy of the fire. Similarly, the sun can absorb water from a urinal or from stool, and the sun excuse me, the sun, and the sun is not polluted. Rather, due to the influence of sunshine, the polluted, contaminated place becomes disinfected and sterilized. One may also argue that since Krishna is the supreme authority, his activities should be followed. In answer to this question, Sukadev Goswami has very clearly said that Ishvaramna Ramnam, or the Supreme Controller, may sometimes violate his instructions, but this is only possible for the Supreme Controller himself. For the Supreme Controller himself, not for the followers. Unusual and uncommon activities by the controller can never be imitated. Sukadev Goswami warned that the conditioned followers who are not actually in control should never even imagine imitating the uncommon activities of the controller. A Mayavadi philosopher may falsely claim to be God or Krishna, but he cannot actually act like Krishna. He can persuade his followers to falsely imitate rasa dance, but he is unable to lift Govardhan Hill. We have many experiences in the past of Mayavadi rascals deluding their followers by posing themselves as Krishna in order to enjoy Rasa Leela. In many instances, they were checked by the government, arrested and punished. In Orissa, Bhaktivinoda Thakur also punished a so-called incarnation of Vishnu who was imitating the Rasa Leela with young girls. There were many complaints against him. At that time, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was magistrate, and the government. Krishna.
Mhm. Can I say something about that?
Of course, Maharaj.
Yeah. You know, this is kind of external. His explanation is dancing around for neophytes. You know, he can't. He's not even explaining. It's kind of just don't go there, don't go there, don't go there. It's because of this, and you know, but not telling you why. You know, like why can Krishna break, and why does he, and why does his devotees break those principles in Vrindavan? Because they're not breaking any principles. They're lust in the world is you're lusting after the object of sense gratification. You know, like say a man or woman. Very easy. You look at a woman or a man that's very beautifully built, and your heart lusts. You know, lust is awakened in the heart, desire for that object. See, so in Vrindavan, the difference is it's the same principle. The object there is Krishna, who is very attractive, but it's spiritual and it's very pure. See, so and Krishna's God, you know, in the true form of the Lord, and it's the pure form. The forms in the material world is a what do you call it? A dark reflection of that truth. See, so it's perfect to be, you know, if you're attracted to Krishna in Vrindavan and you're married, marriage in the material world is based on lust, and it's like it's considered contaminated or less pure. I mean, it's pure as you can get, like being chaste and married and everything like that, but still there's lust there for that one person. And then you may actually feel lusty for others if you see some beautiful body. But in Vrindavan consciousness, it's a consciousness. It's your emotions are transformed into ras, into pure spiritual ras, and it's perfect. It's pure. It's spiritual. It's to do with not our material body, but the spiritual body. So it's perfect, and it's where it's all to go. Whether you're married or unmarried in this world, there's no fault in loving God, and being attracted to the Lord, whether you're married or not married. So, I mean, for our preaching now is to get more clear about it. Otherwise, this thing of, try to convince people intellectually about it, and not explain more the deeper reason. See, like if people know why they should stay, it's almost like if you don't tell a person why they should stay away from bringing your material consciousness into trying to imitate Krishna and the gopis in Vrindavan, you still don't know why. But if you understand why, the reason is the material lust has no jurisdiction over that. It's only for here, lusting after the material bodies of others, or lusting for the objects of the senses in the forms of anything attractive in this world, desiring that, hankering for that, these things in the world. But it's all material, it's all, and this is what keeps us in this samsara. So that's one of the main purposes of association with those whose consciousness is raised on the spiritual platform, because then you'll start to hanker and desire for those spiritual objects. So when you see devotees like developing ecstatic devotion for Krishna, and you see how beautiful it is, how wonderful it is, you start desiring that. And I mean, if you're got some intelligence, you say, oh, I want to be like that. See, that's Raganuga Bhakti path here, that we're teaching that is, and that's why you actually have to see a devotee engaging in transcendental loving affairs, because it is very attractive to somebody who has some good sense, unless they're not, they're less intelligent, then they can't understand. That's why Prabhupada is preaching to neophytes, can't understand these deeper things. But for people here, coming here, you need to know this. You need to see that this is why it's there's no transgression of, this is the real religious principle, is to love Krishna. And that's why Lord Chaitanya came here to show us and demonstrate to us the real religious principle of loving Krishna, and there was no fault in that. And to actually preach the siddhanta of that. So it makes sense. It's more logical. Oh, yeah, when you have it explained, you say, yeah, I can get that. Yeah, it sounds good. Yeah, sure. Bring it on, man. Let's see some more of this ecstatic worship. Because people, you can see this bhakti is awakening in devotees, this potency, and it's causing love for God in the form of his names or his pastimes. It's a beautiful expression to see that, to even see that love in others. It's very interesting, very fascinating, very purifying. See, it's perfect. Yeah. Otherwise, it's like, you see a person loving intimacy. That's intimacy. If you're loving Krishna like that, it's very intimate. And it's intimate, and it causes ecstatic, intimate expressions of emotions. But it's very pure and it's very wonderful, and there's no fault in seeing it. But when you see people down here engaged openly in intimate affairs, it causes like this lust also, and it's very polluting, highly polluting. They call that like pornography. See, pornography. And they say it ends up being a very bad thing to see people intimately engaged like this. People get materially addicted and get, perverse and all kinds of weird things, usually. But this is perfect. This purifies us, raises our consciousness, frees us from birth and death. See, so the main thing is to know how to enter this realm is associating with those who are worshiping Krishna. And the imitation of that, then you can actually see, if you're around real devotees worshiping the Lord in real sincere ecstatic union, you see you can't really imitate that. It's a very natural, spontaneous grace of God to worship like that. So Freddie says some gopis, cowherd boys, are married. See, let's put that up. Some gopis, cowherd boys are married in Goloka Vrindavan. Aren't they in love with one another? Yeah, well, you see, when you're self-realized, you're always in love with Krishna, because that's the real truth. There's only, so even in this world, when you're thinking you're loving this other person, it's not another person. It's actually Krishna in that form of the modes of nature. So so Siddhantically, it's all about Krishna, even in this world. In this world, when we're loving the objects of the senses, see, the material senses, it causes a dullness, and we become less intelligent because we're loving something that's material, and we're actually spiritual. We regain our intelligence again when the spiritual body is awakened. When the spiritual body is awakened, and you're able to love the object of the spiritual senses, which is the Supreme Lord. See? And so, and as you're actually advancing and getting purified, you start to see that's the Supreme Lord in real devotees. When you see a devotee in ecstatic union, that's the Lord's potency. See, you become surrendered to that, and then when you love another devotee, you're actually loving Krishna, because that's Krishna in that form. See, so it's never it's the other thing is the yoga maya in this, and it just causes this spiritual variety, but you're always loving Krishna and seeing Krishna everywhere, even though sometimes it looks like you have basically Krishna in the form of your friend and your mother and your father and your relations, if you're involved in that, not just like a brahmachari. Like Narada Muni, he likes to be alone, and so he goes around like this. Many gopis are married. Some are not married. So in their pastime thing. So there's many different relationships, but it's all the devotees that the liberated souls are related to are all actually Krishna in that form, in the form of their friends, in the form of their mother or fathers or all that. And and that's what they're loving. They have affection for that transcendental energy, that transcendental potency, which is Krishna, even though it appears that this is my mother and this is my father. Because it's always like that. That's the Siddhanta of it. In Vrindavan, it's covered over where, this is just my friend. They don't even, somehow or other, they don't know, because of the yoga maya, they don't know that, this is Krishna in the form of Mother Yashoda, or this is Krishna in the form of this friend or that friend. See, that's covered, and it doesn't matter, because they don't get polluted there, because it's all Krishna's transcendental potency. Here we get polluted. We get mothers and fathers, and we're bound by that affection for the objects in this world. So our material love or lust awakens for objects in this world, and that's all bodily. So we get bodily absorbed and meditating on bodily things, and that's what keeps us in the material world, is that meditation, that hankering for the objects of the senses. So again, that's why you need sadhu sangha. You need to be around liberated souls who are worshiping the transcendental object, which is the Lord, the Supreme Lord, and they have these pure ecstatic emotions. So just to see that is highly that's true auspiciousness. That's real darshan, is to see a devotee engaged in loving affairs with Krishna. It's the most beautiful thing in this universe. It even attracts demigods. So, we're really fortunate to see this awakening in devotees here. I mean, this is very rare and amazing, actually. Very astonishing. And the more you get purified, the more we start to see that stuff. This is Shamaguri. He's listening. Oh, very good. Yeah. See, the reason people leave here often, not if they do leave here, is misunderstanding, not understanding the glories of what's actually going on here, which is very rare. Sometimes people get misled because they think, well, I don't know, Gohari's group, it seems different. It's weird because no other devotees are doing like this. See, or engaging in worship like this. Yeah, because it's very rare, but it's very real, and it's very amazing. Yeah, it's and it's the most powerful spiritual happiness you can feel is ecstatic worship of the Lord. It's the most purifying effect is this ecstatic worship of the Lord. See? It's the most liberating for devotees engaged in this. It's the greatest happiness also. So Freddie says, the objects of the material world can also be considered forms of Krishna as material manifestation. Yes. Yeah. I mean, doesn't Krishna say that in Bhagavad Gita? I am the Arjuna. I'll just tell you what I am in this world, but I'll only tell you the prominent things. But he's actually everything. So he says, of fish, I'm the shark. See, which is, I guess, the most powerful of the creatures in the deep there. But he's everything. He says he's all the good qualities. All the good qualities you see in people here, in the mode of goodness. He's that. He's all the qualities in the mode of passion. He's all the qualities in the mode of ignorance. They're all transformations of that Supreme Lord's energy. His shadow. See? And of course, he says, I'll only tell you those are prominent, of those in the mode of goodness or pure goodness. So in a sense, he's everything. But the thing is, we got to realize ultimately that we're spiritual. We're not meant to sit there and meditate on his objects that represent the mode of ignorance or passion or even goodness ultimately. Because we're spiritual, and that's not of spirit yet. Of the pure spirit. It's of the spirit in the modes of nature, which is material. See, we're meant to meditate on Krishna in his transcendental form, because that's who we're really related to. That he's our real family. Those that are related to his transcendental potency are our real family. That's why he comes here, because we don't belong here, really. We're just caught up in this meditation and hankering off and entanglement in these modes of nature because of our developed desire and addictions to it and all of this stuff. So anyway, we're on our way out. Devotees coming here is now, this is the final deliverance, where you get very deeply attracted to the spiritual potency. We see that happening here with many devotees. Yeah. Sometimes devotees get a little bewildered because we're just a small group here. And the masses of Vaishnavas are not worshiping like this. So you think, oh, well, maybe that's more right, because these gurus, they have more disciples, or there's more Vaishnavas that are into Varnashram Dharma and regulative devotion and ceremonies and all that. And Gohari and their group, they're not wearing tilak, and they're not doing this, and they're not doing the ceremonies, and they're not fasting and all that stuff. No, because we're feasting. See, we got the result of doing all those things is feasting on Krishna. That's all we have to do. It's not about fasting now, it's about feasting. And if you need to do a fast to cleanse the body, that's okay. But this is mostly 99% feasting on Krishna. And this other stuff, all this is been transcended by a deep attraction to the spiritual potency and the spiritual form of the Supreme Lord. See, anything else? Good questions, good comments there. Freddie, any more? Okay, you want to read some more?
I finished the chapter.
Oh, you did? You did finish it?
No.
Yeah.
This is something.
Yeah. Why don't you go over that external explanation a little bit? I mean, to be honest with you, I think most of the devotees need a bit more than just, the Maya, to convince the mind that we shouldn't. I mean, here, I think this is a good enough explanation that for devotees that are, like tasting this nectar or want to taste it. We don't have to be convinced why you shouldn't imitate and all that stuff here. Yeah.
No, I can't do that. I can't do that today. I'm tired.
You can't. You can't do what?
Explain.
No, I didn't ask you to explain anything.
So you just want me to read it?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
I just want to finish reading it.
Go ahead.
So I'm just going to read it. You don't want me to explain it?
No, I didn't. That's not what my point. I wasn't. I guess you weren't listening to me. Maybe you're thinking something else or something.
No, I did listen to you.
Yeah.
Because
No, I'm just saying Prabhupada is explaining an external thing, very external. Actually, I'm bored hearing this thing about Mayavadis and intellectual. I know not to imitate Krishna, and I think devotees here know that. And I'm just saying, skip over it, and we don't need to, Prabhupada's trying to be very careful why you shouldn't do this and imitate, because so many people have in the past.
I'm just reading.
Okay.
That's all I'm doing. I'm not doing anything else. I'm just reading because I can't do anything else. I don't have it in me to do anything else.
Yeah, I know. You missed my point again, but that's okay. Go ahead. Just read. Okay, just read.
Okay, I'll just start from this. Most of the gopis in their previous lives were great sages, except in the study, expert in the study of the Vedas. And when Lord Krishna appeared as Lord Ramachandra, they wanted to enjoy him. Lord Ramachandra gave them the benediction that their desires would be fulfilled when he would appear as Krishna. Therefore, the desire of the gopis to enjoy the appearance of Lord Krishna was long cherished. They approached the goddess Katyayana to have Krishna as their husband. There are many other circumstances also which testify to the supreme authority of Krishna and show that he is not bound by the rules and regulations of the material world. In special cases, he acts as he likes to favor his devotees.
He's not bound by the rules and regulations, because and the devotees aren't either, because they're attracted to his spiritual form. See, so therefore they transcend it.
This is only possible for him because he is the supreme controller. People in general should follow the instructions of Lord Krishna as given in the Bhagavad Gita, and should not even imagine imitating Lord Krishna in the Rasa dance. Krishna's lifting of Govardhan Hill has killed great demons like Bhutana and others are all obviously extraordinary activities. Okay. Krishna lifting of Govardhan Hill is killing great demons like Bhutana and others are all obviously extraordinary activities. Similarly, the rasa dance is also an uncommon activity and cannot be imitated by any ordinary man.
Yeah, and this is another thing. Devotees need to get this potency so they can be attracted to the transcendental form of Krishna and engage in these more intimate affairs with Krishna naturally. See, people, this is the sahaja thing, is people try to climb into that kingdom some other way by their own strength or by their speculations. But there's an authorized way to do it, is you have to be around devotees who are worshiping the Lord in their Krishna in the transcendental position, and you have to see that, you have to learn from that, and by that association with them, you get purified, and the transcendental potency begins to spontaneously awaken in you, qualifying the persons to enter the realm of Vrindavan. See, and that rasa lila, the lila of rasa. See, it's at pastimes of rasa. This is the quickest way. And this is the main part of our teaching that's not explained on the Vaidhi Bhakti platform very well. You can see by Prabhupada's explanation is just trying to say, be careful, don't just jump in there. So we're here to provide the details of how that you can go in the proper way without becoming a sahaja or imitating Krishna or Krishna's devotees. See, because Krishna's rasa lila is with the devotees. Okay, go ahead.
An ordinary person engaged in his occupational duty like Arjuna should execute his duty for the satisfaction of Krishna. That is within his power. Arjuna was a fighter and Krishna wanted him to fight for his satisfaction. Arjuna agreed, although at first he was not willing to fight. Duties are required for ordinary persons. They should not jump up and try to imitate Krishna and indulge in the Rasa Leela, and thus bring about their ruin.
And this is what happens. There's so many in Vaishnavism. You can be a sahaja by trying to attain the spiritual position. It's like you're reading the Goswami books and everything, but you don't have the potency. You don't have the potency to relish them, to taste them, and you're studying them from, just like people study the Vedas, you study the Goswami books without the potency to taste those verses, to taste those names where ecstasy, devotional ecstasy awakens naturally and spontaneously in you. Again, this is why you need the association of rasic devotees. And that's what this is what this path of Raganuga Bhakti is. It's explained by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. It's simply by seeing the devotees engaged in their intimate relationship with the Lord and desiring, I also want to worship like that. See, and then coming into their association and learning by teaching and by seeing also. I've noticed a lot of devotees here, they're picking it up. They're learning how to taste this ras because Krishna is bestowing the potency on them. See? Okay, so Freddie says, from lust to the transcendental love is a long way to go, even if one is in contact with the transcendental potency, because it is deep-rooted condition after many lifetimes, depending on the person. Yeah, it's depending on the person, it'll be longer or shorter. Depending on what, and it's individual. That's why everybody, you notice people are getting it in various degrees here and stages, because some have this very deep-rooted conditioning, and it takes some time to get through it all, or enough of it. So, or, just everybody's doing, but you see, you don't have to get rid of it all. The Lord in Kali Yuga, in this disciplic line, this is a real disciplic line, a rare branch, a living branch on the Chaitanya tree. So you're going to see everything here. Anybody who takes shelter here will get through everything a lot faster than they would ever do. And that's why you'll see some people, they get through it pretty quick. And that should inspire others. Okay? And so others, maybe a little bit longer time. So, but anyway, everybody will get there. You just you found the path, just try to stay on it. And that's, and then some people will be a little bit longer and some people a little bit less, depending. Could be from other lifetimes of working on this here. Okay, go ahead.
One should know with certainty that Krishna has no personal interest in whatever he did for the benediction of the gopis. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna never enjoys or suffers the result of his activities. Therefore, it is not possible for him to act irreligiously. He is transcendental to all activities and religious principles.
See, so the devotees happen to do, they get that also, because they start to do what Lord Chaitanya does by getting the gift of this love. Lord Chaitanya appeared here to give this gift of ecstatic love, so we can be attracted to the spiritual potency which causes no karma. See, there's no karmic effect in loving Krishna. There's no good that comes from it, or no bad. There's no material purity that comes from it, and no material impiety that comes from it. See, it's transcendental to karmic action and reaction. And it dissolves both. It dissolves, this desire to be a goody two-shoes and the mode of goodness energy. So that there's still fault in that, false ego, false identification with the mode of goodness. See, our true identification is Krishna in his spiritual form. Okay? And then we surpass this action and reaction. That's for persons that don't have this potency and are not attracted to the transcendental name, pastimes, or qualities of Krishna. Not deeply attracted. Once you get this potency, then you can begin to follow this path and be purified. And by, all these other things will fall away. The more attracted we are and the more we're worshiping and watering this bhakti creeper, the faster we get through all of this past stuff. And on this path, the residents of Vrindavan overcame all their difficulties, all these occasional demons coming and harassing them, all these obstacles that they came across simply by their attraction to Krishna. They're thinking about Krishna. They're chanting his name when he's not around, seeing him when he is around. All of this, it was all Krishna, 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 with taste and attraction and true love. They got through everything, as everybody will get through here. Just simply by tasting Krishna's name and pastimes and qualities, everything will be adjusted. Everything will be surpassed, all obstacles. That's the path being taught here now, because the qualification is here to follow it. If you don't like to associate with attracted devotees, attracted to the spiritual potency and ecstatic because of that, well, then you got to follow the difficult paths. You'll be thinking this is pure, this is impure. That's the Brahman, Brahman sannyasi in the Varnashram system. Oh, that's impure, I don't touch it. Oh, this is pure, I do touch it. But it's only pure and impure in the mode of goodness. See? In other words, it's to the Lord and to devotees, well, that's okay for children. That's okay for a beginning. But who's ready to move on to find out what's really pure? See, what's really pure is Krishna and his real devotees who are transcendentally situated. Okay? What's really impure are those who are not transcendently situated. It doesn't matter how sincere you are. You could be a sannyasi and a sincere one, and but if your consciousness is tainted by even goodness, it's a taint. It's a contamination for this kind of worship. If you believe in goodness to be pure, then that's contamination. But if you believe in Krishna to be the true pure one, Krishna's transcendental name, and ecstatically realized, now that's real purity. See? Just seeing devotees engaged in ecstatic worship, that's real purity. If you don't like that and you're a big sannyasi with thousands of followers, you're impure. You don't like what's really pure. Ecstatic worship is the only pure thing in this universe. And anybody not engaged in it is not really understands what real purity is. Krishna is always around, always available. Yeah.
Not when you're going through separation.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's always around. He might be in the bushes hiding. wants to see how much desire you have for him. Increasing the desire increases the taste. Separation. Yeah. Because then when the union comes back, it's just, it's actually very purifying to be in separation, especially when we're not through these impasses. Okay, go ahead, read some more.
One should know with certainty that Krishna has no personal interest in whatever he did for the benedictions of the gopis. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna never enjoys or suffers the results of his activities. Therefore, it is not possible for him to act irreligiously. He is transcendental to all activities and religious principles. He is untouched by the modes of material nature. He is the supreme controller of all living entities, either in human society, in the demigod society, in the heavenly planet.
Yeah, and so Krishna was feeling very compassionate, and he appeared as Lord Chaitanya, so that he would give us the ecstatic potency to worship him, so that we're untouched increasingly by the modes of nature. This is the thing. This is the best way, is when we have that attraction to Krishna given by the mercy of Guru and real devotees. See, real sadhu sangha, which we have here. Then you start to feel the being untouched by the threefold miseries in the modes. They cause you miseries, miseries of the body and the mind, miseries of caused by other living entities, other persons. They hassle people that are still in the modes. And the demigods, losing stuff, or them destroying your house or whatever it is, you get freedom from that more and more. Those miseries diminished. Not that you may, some people can transcend them altogether, but they'll be much increasingly diminished in our lives. Okay? And
I
people
feel like that though.
Yeah. For you,
first, a lot of things seem to be diminished, but now they seem to have all just come back.
Yeah, well,
nothing seems to be diminished.
Yeah, because you're going through stuff, man. You're going through stuff. Your material life is being dissolved, basically, and the Lord is doing. Everybody is different. People have different things in different ways that the Lord is working with them. Yeah, it doesn't seem like that, but you always remember. It'll just get better. It always does. Yeah. The Lord may keep you here or take you out. He can do that with all of us. So
wish he was.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You wish he was, but that's dumb. That is stupid.
Not really, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah, it is stupid. It is dumb.
I'm
You got
consumed by a toxic body. I'm consumed. I feel completely toxic with all this swelling in my body
Yeah.
and
Well, it's
tightness
coming
in my
out.
body. I feel completely like I'm living in a cage, trapped in a cage, in a toxic cage. That's
Yeah.
how I feel. That's how
Yeah,
I
I know.
feel.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. This is part of the purification, obviously, for you. There's things working. He's maybe working on your attitude also about this.
Are you?
This is all cleansing. It's cleansing when you're clear about it, Krishna's squeezing all of this stuff out of you this way. He works with different people different ways. You to your last breath, worship Krishna, because what an opportunity. Here you can go as far as you can go. If Krishna wants to take you out, let him take you out. Don't take yourself out.
That never occurred to me. That's not something that's in my life. I just said I
Right.
wanted to take me out.
You want him to take you out.
Yeah, I've had enough.
Yeah.
I really had enough. And you don't want to hear that from me. And I have had enough.
Yeah.
It's too
Yeah.
much.
Okay. Well, then, okay. Well, then that's great. Sanatan Goswami said he had enough also. He said, I had enough. I want to commit suicide.
I don't want to commit suicide, Guru Maharaj.
Well,
I've tried it. I can't do it. I'm a wuss.
Yeah.
I'm a wuss. I cannot do that.
Yeah. Well, that's committing suicide is desiring. Just take me out. You're not understanding. So I'll tell you what Lord Chaitanya told Sanatan Goswami. Okay. He said, Sanatan, I'm going to do many things through your body. I'm going to do many things through your body. And you want to get rid of it. That's action in the mode of ignorance. To be wanting to get rid of your body because you got all these pus sores all over it. But I'm going to use that, just like he's going to use your body. But right now you're suffering and everything. Okay, Krishna will, at the appropriate time, heal you of whatever it is. Because man proposes, God disposes. I'm just saying, don't lose heart because of your physical thing. You'll get through it. Probably. I mean, see this if you can see this as an opportunity to serve the Lord, because you're here. You're here. You're alive.
I've never stopped serving the Lord.
I know.
I've never stopped.
So why not
just? It's worse for me.
So why not just stay around and continue and just go through this? Through it. See, it's all temporary.
Because I don't have the strength anymore.
Yeah, you're alive. You're here. You're awake. You're reading. You got some strength. Anyway, I'm trying to hopefully encourage you, but anyway, you do what you want. Because if you lose the desire to live, you'll probably die. If you say, Krishna, I don't want to live anymore, well, okay, well, he probably will fulfill your desire. I don't know.
I just think, why doesn't he fulfill the other desires that I've asked him for, and he's going to fulfill that one? Because I've had enough. Because he doesn't feel like he fulfills my desires. I don't ask for much, and yeah, I don't ask for much. So
well, maybe he will.
It's like my consciousness
maybe it's just you're asking on your terms and not waiting for him to give you what you want. Maybe it's a timing thing.
Well, I wanted to just serve him.
Yeah, well, this is part of the service. This is part of surrender. Part of surrender is to trust in Krishna that he's got it handled. It sounds to me like you got this strong thing that you want it on your terms, in your way, at your time, and that's the surrender, and that's why things are happening maybe like that. Why don't you can't you just let go and let God? Just let go and let God. Stop trying to demand it to be a certain way, or it has to be in your timing. Trust that the timing of the Lord, he he knows what's best.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I know it's tough. Absolutely. All these things you're going through. But, there's always a reason. There's always a reason. There's in God's terms. We may not.
Is it just my karma? It's my karma. I have to just accept my karma.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, you found the path that brought you here. People living all their whole lives in good health, and they haven't found something really real in their lives. They're just in the illusion. And you found this place. Maybe count your blessings. You might actually feel better. It's just you see that if you see the real facts, you're here, you're in association with real devotees. Yeah, okay, you're suffering and all that stuff. And there's Krishna is working on you in that way. Something beautiful will come from all of this. It always does when it's related to Krishna like this. Let's see what Freddie has to say here. Qualities like earnesty, truthfulness, cleanliness, purity, tranquility are all the mode of goodness. What makes these qualities transcendental in life of the doer? All right, so Freddie says qualities like earnesty, truthfulness, cleanliness, purity, tranquility are all of the mode of goodness. What makes these qualities transcendental in the life of devotee? Yeah, okay, yeah, this is a good question. Okay, earnesty. When you're trying to follow the path, say, let me shut this heat off. It's too damn hot in here. Okay. Okay, earnesty. When you're earnest to follow the rules and regulations and the mode of goodness and ceremonies and all, that's earnesty in the mode of goodness. See, you want to be a disciplined life, okay? So it's very hard to get such earnestness, actually. Anyway, that's the mode of goodness. Now, earnest or eagerness in the transcendental, the qualities of a devotee, a purified devotee, a liberated soul. This is what Lord Chaitanya wants to give the devotees. You get an eagerness to chant the holy name because you start to taste its glories. Truthfulness. So there's truthfulness in the mode of goodness, but it's not exactly truthful. There's impurities there. It's tainted with the false ego, tainted with some motivations like Daksha. He was motivations of this and that and trickiness, and so there's other things. So it's not completely truthful. And often you go against the real truth. The real truth is the transcendental form of the Lord. The real truth is ecstatic worship of God in ecstasy. See, if you're against that, you're against the real truth. So Jarasandha was an example of that. Let's see. So Jarasandha was an example of being against the real truth. Okay, he was following the rules and regulations. He was truthful in the mode of goodness. He was charitable to Brahmins and all of that stuff, and he followed the rules and regulations strictly. But he was against the real pure truth, which was Krishna in his transcendental potency, Shuddha Bhakti. He was against Shuddha Bhakti, so that's not really being truthful yet. You got to be for the truth. So the devotees, they're into the real truth, the Shuddha Bhakti truth. Otherwise, all this other stuff is a contamination. like Devananda Pandit, the Lord, the guy was truthful, humble in the mode of goodness type of humbleness, but yet he still went against pure devotees, Shuddha Bhaktas, like Srivas, had him thrown out of his class. So anyway, so being really truthful is to be true to the spiritual potency. Okay, that's real truth. Okay, and that's why it's kind of hard to take here, because we preach these, like very truthful principles very strictly. Cleanliness. So cleanliness is like, okay, mode of goodness, you wash 3 times a day, take a bath, so you're clean externally. But your heart can still be the unclean. There are demons who wash 3 times a day even. So anyway, you can be a regulative devotee and clean all that stuff. But real cleansing is loving God. See, tasting the Lord's name, chanting his name in ecstatic devotion. That's real cleanliness. Those are real clean devotees to be around. Their hearts are clean like that. Otherwise, if you're not on the ecstatic platform, no matter how many times you take a bath, you're not exactly clean. Purity. Okay, purity in the mode of goodness is I only stay in the mode of goodness. I only eat vegetables. I only eat fruits. I only being around clean atmospheres. I never associate with persons in the mode of passion or ignorance. I study the Vedas. See, I know the difference between the mode of goodness and ignorance and passion because I study Bhagavad Gita. See, so that's a purity, but it's not really pure yet. It's more pure in the mode of goodness than passion or ignorance because you have more knowledge. You'll be more happy because being in the mode of goodness is just going to make you naturally more happy. Mode of passion makes you restless and always hankering. See, mode of ignorance, lethargic, see? But none of that is real purity, ultimately. See? So real purity is Krishna in his transcendental form and taste for that. See, that's real purity. Devotees who taste the holy name in ecstatic love, that's real purity. That's real purification. Just seeing that, now you're getting really purified. That's real darshan. See, you're seeing the devotee in union with the transcendental Lord and its effect on their temple. Okay, their temple is being immersed in that kind of purity. Heart, temple of the heart. Tranquility. See, so tranquility is, again, in the mode of goodness, you're tranquil, you're at peace because you're in a peaceful environment. Or you cause your body to be in peace because you're not agitating it with foods in the mode of passion or ignorance. See, you're at peace because you fast, but that's only bodily, physically. Maybe even mentally a little bit. See, but real tranquility comes from, again, ecstatic worship of the Lord. Learning, attaining that transcendental platform is where real tranquility is. Even though devotee might be really restless in ecstasy, but tranquility is underlying it all. They have the, it's just, tranquility. Sometimes they might be really tranquil, but sometimes very restless because of having so much ecstatic bliss. Are all in the mode of goodness. What makes these qualities transcendental in the life of a devotee? Well, there you go. See, it's just another platform. It's pure goodness. So everything is raised to the spiritual platform. See, everything, the eagerness is spiritual. You're eager for Krishna, to meet with Krishna. That's pure. That's real. That's real eagerness, pure eagerness, enthusiasm. Okay? Because many people in the mode of goodness are not eager to meet with Krishna. And that's proven in the devotees, yeah, they could be in the mode of goodness. Just like Daksha was that example of that in Bhagavatam. He was not eager for the association of Shiva. He was still a legend in his own mind. He thought I'm so superior, So anyway, that's that. And you know what? I think that is so can we help River Yamuna? I don't know. What do you think? I don't know. I was trying to do some help, but sometimes, with devotees, they have to work it out individually between themselves and God. We can do the best we can, but the devotee has to, it's their relationship with the Lord. Even with Lord Chaitanya, the devotees tried to console him. And now that's on the transcendental platform, but it's similar in this world too. They tried to console him and all this stuff, but they couldn't often console him. It was Krishna himself that would console them. And it's the same thing, I think, with River also. She has her own inner relationship with Krishna that will work it out and, and to realize things and all of this stuff. So we can do the best we can with everybody, but we gotta. St. Paul called it, I think, or some of these apostles called it working out your own salvation in that sense. See, it's between you and the Lord. So in many ways, we can't live life for anybody, any of us. We just have to live life in our own relationship with God. But I don't know. Maybe you have some ideas. You can you have some idea. Maybe you can call her up and talk to her a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much, everybody. I think that's good enough for today. It's already 4 hours again. My God, almost 4 hours. Okay. Hare Krishna, everybody. Thank you. Oh, Krishna.